Right now everybody's saying and hoping that 2021 will suddenly be better than 2020. Now, by the fact that you've looked at the thumbnail of this video, you're probably assuming that I don't think that. And you're right, I don't think the year itself will be any better, for many reasons which I'm just about to get into. In fact, we've already started off quite bad, but this doesn't mean I don't think as individuals we can't make something of it. So for the structure of the video, as usual there'll be timestamps in the description and maybe on the screen, so you can skip around if you'd like to. First, I'll quickly be going over why 2021 is by no means better than 2020. And just as a disclaimer, I am not an expert, I am simply speculating. Then I'll go into how I think we'll evolve as a society for things like jobs and school. Then finally, and more importantly, going into things you can do to help you work from home, and how I think we can make the most of this year. So to start this off is the coronavirus. I don't know why I'm worried about getting demonetized. I literally make a negative income on YouTube. What many of us need to understand is that it won't just suddenly go away, it's sort of with us forever. And by that I mean the virus itself, not the restrictions. We sort of need to accept it a bit more like the flu. I just filmed half the video. Well, I lied because it wasn't filming. So I'll have to start again. We sort of need to accept it a bit more like the flu. All we can really do is minimise its effects. Yes, there will still be deaths, but there are many other deaths from many other things that we don't fuss over that much. Which, to add on to that, I think the main reason everyone's so scared of this virus is simply because of the news, as there are over 1.2 million deaths a year in the US alone just from heart disease and cancer, and there are over 1.8 million coronavirus deaths in the world. So, I've just realised that probably came out wrong, and just to clarify, I don't mean it in a barbaric way. Anyway, I'm not an expert, so please don't quote me on this, but I reckon the restrictions will have died down by the end of this year, so near December time. But once again, I am just speculating, I don't actually have anything on this. So moving on to how we might evolve as a society. Before I get into jobs, I just want to talk about schooling quickly, and in case you don't think that concerns you, remember you might have kids someday. As this is professional advice. As students, we evidently have different learning paces, and it seems, especially in the UK, that more focus goes into those that need more help. However, this means that those that do understand have to spend lots of unnecessary time at school. So instead of having to spend a 6 to 8 hour day at school, they could probably do it in 2 or 3. And with that extra time can either do extra work or something that they would like to pursue. However, since lockdown, school has been online, so everybody's been able to do school at their own pace. So once the work is done, it's done, in case you already didn't know that. And those that do need extra help can get that extra help from their teachers, but without wasting everyone else's time. This is why I will hopefully be doing my A-levels online. And in case you didn't know what A-levels are, they're just in the UK. Now moving on to jobs. As we all know from the whole global situation, the idea of working from home has become more of an accepted possibility. This has many obvious benefits like less travel, less cost for travel, and all the other benefits of just being at home, that convenience. And although many prefer actually working at the office because they struggle with distractions from family members or the TV at home, the upside with this is that many have realised that they could be doing that exact thing, but all the money goes to them. Starting a business. This also applies for people who have lost their job, but not quite for the same reason. And they probably wouldn't have taken this risk to being self-employed if it wasn't for having all the negatives already there. Losing your job, not having much money. Now moving on to the final thing just before the personal development side of things, which is how I think we're gradually moving away from the traditional career path of going to university, then getting a good job. I feel like working from home and online school have opened the curtains to other possible career paths that don't necessarily require a formal education. I don't mean to say this is a bad career path, but it's certainly not for everyone. So I think taking these few steps away from that being the only career path will open up more opportunity for future generations to pursue. There are two things I'm covering next. The first is how to focus on your work and not get sidetracked or start procrastinating. Then into ways to make sure that your 2021 is actually better than your 2020. And as I said in the beginning of the video, there will be timestamps in the description or on the screen on the screen if you'd like to skip around. Now onto focusing on your work. There are many videos dedicated to this topic by many other YouTubers, so I'll leave those linked in the description. But here and right now I'm just going to skim over a few of the main, more important things that I've found help. The quick first thing to know is that the underlying reason you can't concentrate at home but you can at work is because there's that lack of separation between your home life and your work life. Primal part of your brain associates the living room with relaxing and eating, not working, and so it will go for those more, in the short term, more rewarding activities. And by rewarding I mean those that give you the quickest hit of dopamine. So the key to implement here is intentionality, and I know this may sound a bit daft because obviously you're sitting down at your desk to do your work, but I mean you need to be more specific at this, like how much you would like to accomplish. Whether that's 2,000 words or completing a project that you've been assigned. This way your brain has more motivation to do that thing as there's an end reward, there's something to achieve. And without it, even if you get loads of work done, there's no sense of accomplishment because there's no reference to how much progress you've made, that reference being how much you'd like to accomplish. As seeing as there's been no reward to accomplishing something, achieving it, your primal side sees no reason for really doing this ever again. Along with this, it will give you a sense of how long this task will be, and so you'll automatically focus all your energy on doing that task. And another thing you can do to help with intentionality is simply to limit other distractions. And the best thing you could do, although not a possibility for everyone, is to find a separate room with a door, obviously a quiet room, but you should at least and always remove other potential distractions such as your phone by putting them across the room out of your reach so it's a bit more inconvenient to get them, or even out of the room. And although it's harder to limit family distractions, you could try to implement a rule so that during certain times of the day that you set, nobody can come and disturb you unless it's an absolute emergency. Now on to turning 2021 into a good year over a bad year. Right, so the first thing you really need to understand, in case you don't already, is that despite all your expectations, your goals, the second it's the new year, the only thing that's changed is the date, not you. As James Clear says in his book Atomic Habits, everybody in a race has the same goal to win, so it's obviously not the goal that sets them apart. The goal only acts as the compass to what you want to do, which is still important because if not, you don't know what to do. But the important thing that needs to go with every goal is a system. And the system is the process through which you get to your goal. So this means along with your goal to look ripped, you need more actionable things so that you know exactly what to do to get there. So for this case it's pretty obvious, go to the gym, but you also need to be more specific in things like when you're going to do it and how often. Another piece of advice, once again as James Clear writes, is that you should start small, as the hardest bit about this is actually getting into the habit of doing that action, not the action itself. So back to that example, I'll go to the gym once a week on a Saturday for 30 minutes is better than get ripped, as you know exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. And once you've got into this habit, it's a lot easier to stack onto that, whether that's going twice a week as opposed to once, or making an hour as opposed to 30 minutes. And after a while, you'll come to the point where you're doing a lot more than you ever thought you would be doing. And if you'd like to learn more about this book or read it, there'll be a link in the description to both the video and the link to the book. So now moving on to the last point or thing that you must do. And that's to take advantage of opportunities. I believe that for every negative there is a positive, you just need to have the right perspective on it. And a book I found really interesting on this is called Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I don't mean this to be a recommending book fest, but I'm just hoping that if you are interested in any of these things I've spoken about, there'll be something in the description that you can look into further. Anyway, even though there has been a pandemic and still is a pandemic, it doesn't mean it doesn't open up opportunities. If you've lost your job or found yourself with lots more spare time, you could learn a new skill such as programming, which can A, be done at home, and B, open up lots of job and business opportunities. I know that might not be the most unique example, but everybody is different, so I'll leave it up to you to find those opportunities. And once again, to help you with this, I'd recommend that book by Ryan Holiday, or at least to watch a video reviewing it. Just before I wrap up this video, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Jeff Bezos, the billionaire who founded Amazon, in case you didn't know. Although he has said it in a variety of of ways, so I'll just sum it up in a not very neat fashion. He says when he's older, he would like to be able to look back on his life with the least amount of regrets, and that regrets most often come from things you didn't try over things you did try. And so this is why he's always trying new things, even though they don't all end up or turn out well. At least the door has been opened and he knows what's behind it. And it seems to have worked quite well for him, so... Right, so that pretty much wraps it up for this video, and I hope that you come away from this video with some insight, or maybe some things that you can apply to your life so that hopefully you can make something of 2021, even if it doesn't seem very nice from the outside. Hopefully the video wasn't too long or too short, or I went over stuff too quickly. I just noticed from the last video that it went on for too long and I had to cut back loads because it was aiming for the 20-25 minute mark. And as usual, if you do feel like it and do have some feedback, please do leave a comment down below, whether this is for me or someone else reading the comment section. Additionally, if you did enjoy this video, you might be interested in checking out some of my other videos and maybe even consider subscribing. And to further support me in this video, you can like the video, and this would be greatly appreciated, as not only will it help support the channel and show me your support, but I've just said that, but it will help promote this video in the YouTube algorithm to help show more people, so hopefully this channel can grow so that I can continue uploading videos just like this, or hopefully more improved videos like this. Anyway, thank you for your time and I hope to see you in my next video.